What is more hysterical? Is it my being hit in the nuts video? Or is it the fact that Anthony Rodriguez will be joining us, probably giving a backstory of all my time at Metro State University? Or is it the fact that J.J. McCarthy will not be the future of the Minnesota Vikings? We will talk about that and more on another episode of the Mainly Broncos podcast.
Saddle up your horses.
Pitter patter! Let's get at her. It is another episode of the Mainly Broncos podcast, and as we teased, we do have a big-time guest. Actually, it's a blast from the past guest. It would be none other than at Anthony Rod 33. He joins us. For anybody that does not know, he is actually one of the sole creators, if not the sole creator, of discovering me for getting me on a microphone. He asked if I wanted to do any sort of microphone work back when we were at MSU Denver, and I shouted him with a fellow person named Brandon Stoll, and frankly, ever since that point, the rest is history. It was at that moment that we joined KMET Radio and made a few radio shows, actually called a handful, if not more, games between all sports for MSU Denver. So I do owe a lot of it in terms of the success for what I'm doing with Anthony Rodriguez. So he joins us, getting the opportunity to probably give all sorts of false information during my time at MSU Denver. And of course, the guys are all here. Brandon at Brandon Miller PO is here. And of course, at Jordan T. Lopez with no echo, over there in the humid state of Florida. Thank you, boys, for hopping in. So, Anthony,
yeah, I'm going to interrupt this right now, and we're going to stop the pleasantries, because if we get one more host in here, out of respect for Jaden Daniels, that would make it 5, and I would have to dip out. I would have to respectfully dip out if we get to that number. So if you guys could just respect my privacy and my decision-making on that, if we had one more host, I would appreciate it.
Real quick, what is your guys'? We'll take it off with you, Anthony. But what is
How's a clown honk?
What is your initial take on that? I think when I saw it, it was like late last night. It was like at 8:30, 9 o'clock last night. Like, it was a late breaking story.
Soft, just absolutely soft, dude. He hadn't been there for just 1 year, and it's only been a couple years since he's been gone. I understand he won a Heisman. I understand that. Joe Burrow won it all and was better. And I think, and honestly, to actually say something when it's not even a quarterback, it's a corner that is taking your number. It's not like down the road they can't retire it. It still could be a thing. They're not now. I think it's soft as hell. And again, for those that don't know, obviously he's getting all angry, send a cease and desist, what have you, to LSU about them giving his number to another player, a star corner that I guess was promised that number to come there. I think it was before Lane Kiffin, but still, it's so damn soft. And Jaden Daniels, the best post I saw today was, if anything is hurting the name, image, and likeness of Jaden Daniels, it's Jaden frickin' Daniels. It's a joke.
Dude, you don't even know, did you see the most recent update with that?
The post he did, that was like he said nothing?
No.
What now?
His camp is asking LSU to return their version of the Heisman Trophy that he won.
Yep.
Jaden,
I don't know what's
soft
happening.
What
Daniels.
are we doing here, man?
God.
Yeah.
Soft.
Yeah, Jordan.
I mean, I was talking to it with my brother. I was like, I don't know what's happening in Jaden Daniels' life, or I know his mom's very active behind the scenes with him and stuff like that. But
She's his agent, if I'm not mistaken. He's adopting the same type of way that Lamar
Stop
was.
making your parents your agents.
yeah, and I don't know if that's the best way to go right now, because it's looking like he's being directed into the wrong direction at this point. I mean, that was an insane breaking news yesterday. Then it got worse today with the Heisman Trophy wanting to be returned to him. I mean, it's just all bad.
I mean, the one thing I will say that I find very interesting, and granted there were some other circumstances at that point in time, given with Arizona State, but remember when a lot of Arizona State teammates actually weren't the biggest fan of Jaden Daniels?
Yep. They cleaned out his locker.
Maybe there might be a reason for why they were cleaning out his locker. So, speaking of, obviously, the 2024 draft class, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the other big news bomb, if you will, within the week. Obviously, we touched it on the cold open, Anthony. But what is the most funniest thing to you? Is it actually me being, hit in the nuts very famously? That you have as the background. Is it me running routes in the Mario Vitanzi Football Invitational?
Oh no!
I don't know why you really
Can we get that one more time? One more time, please. Oh God. Oh.
One of them is Ryan Edwards, by the way. Sorry, Ryan.
Where is he?
Love you.
Which one is he?
He's the one next to. He is the one next to me.
With the white hat?
No, that's me.
Where with the white hat? Which one is he?
He's the one that's like right next to me. So like obviously I'm the furthest, and he's the one that's next closest to me.
Okay. Oh man.
There he
Oh.
is.
So is that funny, or is it the?
Hello there, I am Pepe Lestange. Hashtag Lestange. I had odors, really bad odors. I needed help. I needed Goders. Goders is an athletic gear spray that eliminates odors like that of Lestange, killing 99% of bacteria. It's safe on fabric and plastic, is non-toxic, and even biodegradable. When you have had such a successful career like Pepe Lestange, you need to smell your best to beat the rest. And if you like bubblegum, you're in luck. The odor of Goders is bubblegum fresh to hide that stanky, sweaty smell. So if you want to smell as good as sexy Pepe Lestange, get Goders. It's like Goders always says, you sweat it, Goders gets it. Hashtag Goders. Goders.
Yeah, you're all welcome. I apologize for absolutely nothing. You were all very welcome. Made 10 years
It was
ago.
either that or J.J. McCarthy being benched by the Minnesota Vikings, thus, for all intents and purposes, putting another backseat on his career and possibly starting in the National Football League.
Dude, you were running like Cam runs routes there, man.
Oh no, I was
What
way
was
more.
that?
I had way better running style, running skill, running ability, running anything than Cameron Parker. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
That's fair. That's fair.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks for that. Needed to see that one today.
you're welcome. Yeah,
no, just
We've
real
got
quick
more.
on
We actually have more from the college tapes that unfortunately we could not.
Oh, there's
unfortunately.
endless amounts.
There's
You're just giving the internet blackmail fuel against you guys. I don't know why you would like willingly show these videos, but you know what?
There was one I was wanting to watch, but due to people that may or may not have anger issues, I didn't want them to feel very slighted in one way or another due to a certain camera being demolished.
Computer. God, get the story right. It was a laptop, Cam. And no one else knows what we're talking about, Cam.
I thought you were saying that you had secretly recorded me playing golf. You know what? I don't care.
That may or may not have happened on my dad's phone.
That's fine. That's fine. Real quick though on the Jaden Daniels story,
Yeah.
dude. What are you doing? Like at this point, you're just acting like a child. The amount of like Heisman winners who didn't have let me back that up. I'm pretty sure there's only been one Heisman winner in the past 10 years where their number was retired at their college team, and all the other ones within the next 2 years were being used by other players that weren't even quarterbacks. contracts. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. It's a little ridiculous. I still don't understand why he.
How do you think DJ
hired
Pickett
an actual
feels?
Agent, man, I don't know. He probably is like
He already said he's not shying
doesn't
away.
even care. Like
He's
he
keeping the
probably
numbers.
is just like, cool. I'm keeping this number. I like agreed to it. This was the main reason that I came here. There was actually like
He was from the other staff.
when he when he originally went to LSU, he actually had a different number, and then part of the reason that he decided to stay and re-sign with LSU and stay there another year was like literally entirely contingent upon him getting that number. So he's not giving that up. He doesn't care what
Right.
Jaden Daniels says. The only person who cares what Jaden Daniels says right now is Jaden Daniels. He's not going to win against LSU. A cease and desist isn't even a legal requirement to do anything.
No. And this
Because-
is RG3 trajectory, too. I mean, first of all, the Commanders are going to suck again, and so the relevancy is going to be a question mark. It's going to get even worse for him. Dude, he better shine again like his rookie season. Otherwise, it's just all this is just going to look so much worse when everyone expects them to hit them and the Commanders the year that I think they're going to have.
Well, and we'll talk about the Bo contract stuff, but every single quarterback that was drafted in that round, in that first round, is also eligible for a contract, which means Jaden Daniels is up for a contract, and so it's just like the way you're acting there, it's just not the best. And even if your mom is your agent, not a lot of people are going to be wanting to do business, with any sort of distraction, that will be. So
That has fifth-year option written all over it. Pick up the fifth year and just drag it out. And if the shenanigans continue, then you consider cutting bait, or you give him a low ball offer, and if he doesn't take it, see ya.
Yeah.
It's not even the
Especially-
shenanigans. It's like, does he go back to looking good?
RG3 trajectory.
Well,
It's starting to feel like.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, even before this, like, there was already RG3 trajectory based on his frame, the way he had been, just overall playing, right? And then you add this on top of it, and it's just like it's just wild. Like, it is absolutely wild how it's on unfolding. Now, J.J. McCarthy, on that other hand, I don't think I ever saw a situation, granted, it all has to play out, Jordan and Brandon and Anthony, but, like, it all has to play out, but I have never seen a case where a guy has been in or will be a Los Angeles Charger so fast in the case of J.J. McCarthy due to everything that is all turned out. Because it's like, it's sure as heck not going to end up working out with the Minnesota Vikings, which if you're not going to work out with Kevin O'Connell, the best course of action for you is to basically rewrite your career the Sam Darnold way, but do it with your former head coach, Jim Harbaugh, who was your coach in Michigan, and thus being a Los Angeles Charger under Justin Herbert.
I mean, going back to your former head coach who only had you throw 10 passes in a playoff game, I don't know if that means that he believes in you or not. So that might not actually be the best option.
Yeah, he's not going to want to be anywhere near JJ ever again. He was just being nice.
No.
Remember when people thought, oh, why not trade Justin Herbert and then bring in JJ McCarthy? God, could you imagine?
Please do it. Please do it.
No, right? No, seriously,
I will
yeah.
pay you. I'll
Everyone
pay
wants
you
them
fine.
to do it. By the way, a conspiracy theory for you on Jaden Daniels. He hasn't been the same since I interviewed him at the Super Bowl.
Huh?
Oh.
After his rookie year, I got a chance to interview him in New Orleans for Super Bowl week, and he hasn't been the same since. So it could be my
You
fault.
stay the hell away from Bo.
Yeah, no, I have interacted with Bo, not this season, but I have interacted with Bo, and it's okay. We're okay.
So far so good. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we're
far so
okay.
good.
Just saying.
Thank you guys to everybody again that has been hopping in the chat. Of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button for the MHRT Network page over there on YouTube, as well as the Mainly Broncos YouTube page. We do 2 different YouTube channels where the stream is going live on both of those. We are also going live over there on the X Twitter handles. May not necessarily be Anthony's Twitter handle, but we are going.
Repost.
But we are going live, of course, over on mine at Cameron Perker PO, over at Jordan T. Lopez, and Brandon's
Reposted.
at Brandon Miller PO. Now, obviously, as we all know, that Brandon Miller is no relation to the basketball player over there in the NBA named Brandon Miller. So if you do send out some notifications and stuff to Brandon Miller of the NBA and you send it over to Brandon Miller PO's way, well, that's your fault. So thank you guys again for hopping in. Anthony, to kind of kick things off first and foremost, you've been there. You've been out there over in training camp right now. You've been pretty much there day by day, like every single day. You are living and breathing literally Broncos training camp right now. This is the night before preseason, and I know we have a lot to talk about in terms of preseason game number 1. So why don't you kind of take it off with us as far as I'm kind of putting you on the spot here because it's a very loaded question. Mm-hmm. But what is the number one takeaway of this Denver Broncos team that you have seen so far at training camp or up to this point with preseason number 1?
Yeah, I'll go off the field, technically. I guess technically sideline to the field now that we know for sure that Davis Webb's going to be calling plays from the sideline, but it's exactly that. The dynamic of Sean Payton giving play calling to Davis Webb has been the storyline because how this offense is going to go from really good to potentially really great or elite lies on the shoulders of one Davis Webb. Now, it all kind of came to a head this last Monday when Sean Payton, as he does on a yearly basis in his yearly tell-all with his good friend Kay Adams, made her visit to training camp on Monday and made the analogy that I have now run with, which is that of driver's ed. Sean Payton essentially mentioned, in driver's ed, when the teacher is alongside the student and is ready there to pump the brake if necessary, the student's got the wheel, Davis Webb. The teacher's got the brake, Sean Payton. And so naturally, yesterday in the press conference, I followed up with Sean. I said, okay, are you anticipating not needing to pump the brake in this preseason opener? And he told me absolutely. He's going to let Davis Webb cook. Now, he did that obviously in the preseason last year when obviously Sean was still the guy still calling plays, but this is obviously a totally different animal. The storyline is how much offhands does Sean really get when we hit regular season football? Can he, and I say this respectfully, can he not help himself from taking it back or being too involved or from letting Davis Webb do his thing? Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, real talk here, Sean will be doing it again in a year from now because Davis Webb will be gone. He will be a head coach in the NFL this time next year. He almost was this year. He was a finalist in multiple spots. So to me, I think if Sean wants to see what this offense can do, let Davis cook. What we've seen in the small spurts so far, and I have seen it in camp. I remember day 1 of training camp, the motion, the speed, the electricity in the air, watching that offense kick things off in training camp in the first couple days was notable. It was notable. More than we've seen a lot, I think, in this past couple seasons with Sean running things. So it's nothing against Sean. I think even Sean is ready to adapt and ready to evolve. And I think part of his evolution is going to learn a bit from the new abilities, the new things that I think Davis is going to do. So long-winded answer, I think the answer is like, let Davis do his thing. That to me is going to be the ultimate factor. And especially in these first 6 games, do not get trigger happy. Let it develop. If it's a little slow, stick with it. Let this thing play out because I think the offense is going to be way better for it by letting Davis Webb do his thing. And we've seen that. And I hope that Sean sticks to that. And I think he will. I think he believes him. He said the word special with Davis Webb. He made the driver's ed analogy and then called him special. Said that this guy is going to be special. And he knows it. He's going to be a head coach next year. He's going to have to go against him for as much longer as Sean Payton will be coaching this league. He'll be facing off against Davis Webb. So let it be this year and let it be successful.
Jordan, Brandon.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I mean, I think that is the main storyline going in, and it will be interesting to see how it goes tomorrow, in tomorrow's preseason game. But at the end of the day, it is just preseason. Not a lot of the starters are going to play, especially Bo. But I'm also wondering with the relationship with Davis Webb and Bo Nix, how that's going to go. We already know they have a great relationship, but if stuff does start to go slowly to begin the season and stuff like that, and then Sean Payne does decide to, get involved a little bit more than he's supposed to, does Bo say something? Does Davis Webb say something? You don't want any of that happening, throughout the season. But I am very confident in the pairing of Davis Webb calling plays, Sean Payne kind of just taking that step back. I think it's going to be a lot of the same concepts, just a newer way of doing it, and that's just the evolution part of it. And I'm here for it. I think it's going to be a great process for Davis Webb and Sean Payne, and I think the one that's going to benefit the most out of it is going to be Bo.
Couldn't agree more. My one, I wouldn't say concern, but just piece that I'm watching is we've seen how Sean sometimes can struggle to let things go or stick with things in a specific way. And I'm specifically referring to like the running game, not sticking with the running game, but I do want to know how much he is going to back up what he says about giving Davis Webb the reins, and how much is the driver's ed teacher going to feel like he needs to take over, and how much is he going to force himself to hold back and not grab the handbrake, right, and change things and go in a different direction. That's what I'm going to be trying to keep an eye on, just because you've seen him struggle to stick with some things in the past. And I know that's like a very different example when we're talking about like sticking with specific concepts in the offense versus sticking with Davis Webb. But that's going to be something that I'm curious to see. But I agree. I do think that's going to be the biggest storyline, not only tomorrow and the entire preseason, but just going into this opening 6 games of the schedule, because it's going to be an absolute bloodbath, and you're going to have to give Davis as much of a runway as he can get, and you're going to have to let him drive for the entirety of this preseason so he can try to get some kind of momentum and get some live reps in the tank, getting into what's probably the hardest opening stretch in the league. So I definitely think that's going to be not only important, but also required.
Well, it's going to be interesting because obviously the other continuing question that's going to be is the identity. Like, what is the actual identity of that Davis Webb offense going to be looking like, right? Like, we know that this offense under Sean Payton has at least shown with Hall of Fame, quarterback Drew Brees to be a little bit pass happy. And also we know that Davis Webb comes from that air raid, the Mike Leach system, that very pass happy kind of offense. And so it's when we're, well, what is that identity going to be a little bit? Obviously, we know that they've went out and got Jonah Coleman. They went and drafted R.J. Harvey this last year. So it's like, it seems like they very much are leaning into this running attack, while also, maybe getting a little bit more explosive plays for Evan Ingram and that side of things as well. And so it's just, and to kind of continue it a little bit, Anthony, is like, I think one of the things specific to preseason is everybody, and frankly, even training camp, because you don't want to divulge too much, because, well, one, fans are going to record video and they're going to post it everywhere. I'm joking.
Not this year. They were super strict this year. The no phone policy, the no posting policy was above and beyond this year, at least in the policy.
Yeah. It was rough last year, but it was pretty strict this year.
Outside of the shooting period, so to pull back the curtain a little, they give us video shooting periods of those in the media, but tell me, y'all, you can tell me, did you see anything from fan perspective? No. They were on it this year. So to continue the point is, like, I think the other side of this, strictly from a preseason side of things, what is it we see? Because I'm sure we'll see glimpses, or a glimpse of a play, like the Evan Ingram play this last year, with Arizona, right? Like, oh, wow, frankly, that might have been Evan Ingram's most astonishing play, if you will, right? Like, in his years so far being a Bronco, aside from Washington. So it's just like, you'll probably see a glimpse here and there, but like Anthony, it's just like, I think that's the thing too, is like, how vanilla will it be for this Denver Broncos preseason this year, knowing the fact
that Davis Webb is offensive coordinator, and then knowing the fact that they also want to make sure they are hiding a chess piece offensive coordinator to their disposal with Davis Webb and really kind of unleashing him, come the regular season.
Well, it's going to be vanilla. It always is. Every single team does it. You never showcase too much. I mean, I know luckily the Broncos aren't in a case where some teams are, where they're playing teams in the preseason they were going to see in the regular season. So thankfully for the Broncos, they are not in that realm. That would be really a struggle. But I remember what Davis Webb said last week. They're in it to learn in this preseason, whatever that is. I think it's going to be a lot necessarily not just about the plays you actually run, but about just the process. I think Bo Nix playing the final 2 preseason games, but I really like the one thing I've thought about recently is him not playing in this first game. Bo can watch from the coach and coach player perspective, watch Davis's process without having to process on the field what Davis is communicating. He can kind of be that cloud above watching how Davis is doing it. That way, okay, when I step in games 2 and 3 in the preseason, I can already know what it's going to be like without having to process while also trying to play at the same time. So Davis Webb said last week, it's about learning. They want to learn something every drive. They want to go in. Essentially, it's not just Davis talking about the players. I think himself as well. They want to just learn how to maneuver and make this successful. Now, to your point, yeah, vanilla. And the Broncos are in an interesting spot because there aren't going to be many guys in the Albert Okwuegbunam spectrum of featuring guys that maybe you're looking to move. The Broncos are going for the Super Bowl, right? They are trying to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to make any trades. I don't think there's going to be any guys that are going to look to feature. Maybe Jarrett Stidham, if after games 1 and 2, Sam Ellinger shows he's the 2. That could maybe be a potential guy. If they know that they're locked in at wide receiver, then I think maybe you try to feature Hakeem Butler a bit and maybe get something for him because I don't think he's going to make the team. Again, at wide receiver, you maybe try to feature Troy Franklin if you really want to make that move, but I think the injuries are going to derail the conversation about trading a guy, so that whole element for me is off the table. But in the preseason, you want to learn the process. You don't want to trust the process yet because you don't know what to trust, not like the Sixers, but you want to learn the process, I think, offensively. And again, not show too much, but just getting the other word that Davis Webb mentioned was having all the guys find a rhythm. He used that word as well, rhythm. So it's not going to be the crazy spark stuff. It's not going to be what we're going to see in the regular season. It never is, and it never should be. But it's about getting your process ready, and then when Bo steps in on the field, you're going to see him put that into action in the communication with him and Davis. Let Davis and Sean figure things out as well. Not about particularly the plays, but the process of getting a play in, the conversation after each play with Davis and Sean. The whole process is what I'm most excited about. And it's not going to be something that you can put your fingers on, right? You can't feel, and you aren't going to see from the fan perspective, or even as us analyzing perspective, whether that process is being successful or not. We'll hear from after the games. The post-game press conferences could be as beneficial and as much of a learning process for us as the actual games about, hey, how did that process work? What did you learn this game? Did you get into that rhythm you talked about?
Yeah, for me, it's the word that you mentioned during that whole thing was rhythm. I'm looking for the rhythm of the whole thing because last year everyone was screaming for more up-tempo just because the offense was more in a rhythm. Everything looked more smoothly, and that's when the offense was at its best. And another thing with the rhythm is the rhythm of getting the play calls in quickly and efficiently, which was also a problem last year with Sean Payton. And we've seen the videos of Bo looking towards the sideline and saying some stuff. And I think with Davis Webb, I think those plays are going to get called in earlier. And I think the rhythm, the whole thing is going to be with the rhythm, whether that's going to be within the preseason and that carrying over to the regular season. And I think that's going to be the most beneficial part of this whole process is just going to be the rhythm of everything. Because once this offense gets into a rhythm, then that's when you see the flashes of every individual player on the offense, quite frankly, come to fruition.
Couldn't agree more. I think alongside that rhythm, balance to me is what I'm going to look for because I don't want to see Bo have the most pass attempts in the NFL again this year. You talked about the Saints offense having a lot of pass happy calls, but we had a lot of pass happy calls. That was literally the offense of the Denver Broncos last year because we couldn't run the ball, and I know a lot of those passes were, short yardage basically screens to try to manufacture some kind of a run game, and you can't lean on that again this year if you're going to hope to make a Super Bowl run, which I agree. I think this is absolutely the year that you're going to be trying to take advantage of that ever closing window. I think the window is open, and I think that they're going to do their best. That's why you trade for Jalen Waddle, but you can't not have a running game again. So I definitely think you need to see a little bit more balance from the offense too, and I hope one of RJ Harvey or Jonah Coleman steps up, or preferably both. J.K. Dobbins dealing with a potential soft tissue injury. I hate it. It's probably my least favorite injury that I ever hear about, other than obviously like the big ones like ACL tears, just because those things linger. They linger so long. It's actually concerning, I think, for the season a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to miss a lot of time. He might not miss any time. I don't know. I mean, J.K. Dobbins usually misses time, but when you have soft tissue injuries, they just seem to stick around.
He was out there, I believe, that next day, and he's fine. So
yeah.
and I'm not going to repeat what he said because we're really not actually supposed to. Some people did. I will say nothing else on that.
Hey,
he let everyone know that he's fine.
Happy.
Yeah,
Good.
He let everyone know he's fine. He can take a day, and he did. And he took that latter half of that one day they went out, and then he's fine. And who knows? We don't actually know. I'm not sure. Maybe he plays tomorrow. I don't think so, but maybe.
Hey, if that's the case and he's good, I love it. I'm so happy for him. I saw a report of soft tissue injury, and I'm just like, I don't think so.
It's run rampant through training camp.
Yeah.
Sean mentioned, and they've done it. They've been doing they're calling this warm down period. When I saw it for the first time, what was it? Friday or Saturday? One of the first days when they did it, the warm down period. And then he referenced it. He's like, he said we got to get a control on the soft tissue things. I know Waddle, I believe, is soft tissue. Dobbins is soft tissue. Mims is soft tissue. I don't know if Benito was a soft tissue. I'm not sure about Benito. I know Mims, Waddle, and Dobbins were. But they're doing the warm down period. They're emphasizing hydration. They're emphasizing the pre-practice routine stuff. But we're still a month away from tomorrow from the regular season. But we're hoping that this doesn't turn into a thing. And so far, outside of Matt Henningsen and Dieter, those are the two season endings so far. Everyone else, literally the most common phrase uttered from Sean Payton is, I think he's going to be fine. Talking about Mims and Waddle and Dobbins, all of them. He literally said after every guy, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. Except for Henningsen, who tore his Achilles on the same exact day a year later, the other one. And then Dieter, who had the... and then Dieter, who went out with the season-ending quad injury we learned yesterday.
So I want to kind of touch base on something that Brandon touched on, because that was something I know, Anthony, you wanted to kind of talk about, which is that super window. I think that their Super Bowl window is opening. So in a way, it's a weird way to look at it, because you and I were briefly talking about this, Anthony.
Arguing.
I wouldn't say arguing. It was an aggressive negotiation.
There it is.
But it was just but it was one where it was just like we talked about it, and it's like I think I can see both sides of it, where like, it's closing, but on the other hand, it's like I think based on where they're currently at also, I can also see it opening, because this is with last year and then now this year is the most open it's ever been. But you made the point where it's the best shot that they will have to win a Super Bowl, meaning their window will be closing after this year. Just want to make sure I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No, you're not. That's pretty much where I'm at. I think the Super Bowl window will be open in different... I'm trying to think of a smart-ass analogy here. But the window essentially is going to be open, but like in different ways. Like it's going to be a different kind of window that'll open each time over the course of the next couple of years. But the window is wide freaking open right now, and there's a lot of factors. And there's a lot of factors. Number one is the one I already mentioned, so I won't go into it further. Davis Webb will be gone after this year. Even if the Broncos offense is just good at best, Davis Webb will be highly thought of, and he already is, and he almost was a head coach last year. I'm convinced that if Clint Kubiak doesn't exist, I think he's the head coach of the Raiders, Davis Webb. But Clint Kubiak did exist, and he won that job over and won Tom over and got the job. I think Davis Webb's going to be gone after this year regardless. That's going to be obviously a step back if the offense does take a big step forward and then they revert back to Sean calling plays, which is going to be fine. I just think from being really good to what could be great this year and then losing Webb, that could be a big factor. You're going to have a lot of turnover when you're paying Bo Nix. You're going to, after this year, outside of disaster, you're paying Bo Nix after this season. It's the new trend. After that third year, before you even talk about fifth-year option, you get ahead of it. You get ahead of the curve also for what the contract would be a year or two later, which would be more expensive. You're going to pay Bo Nix, and that's going to have a trickle-down effect. Now let's go through all the guys who are going to lose. In all reality, these are the guys I think the Broncos will be losing after this year. I think if Pat Bryant has the year that we all think he is, and he's been the best player in training camp, you've all seen it, and I'm telling you, I've seen it with my two eyes. Pat Bryant, if he can stay healthy and maybe wear that Guardian cap, potentially is an idea for him to avoid those concussions, he really could be the heir apparent to someone I think might be gone after this year, and that's Cortland Sutton. I think Marvin Mims is going to be gone after this year. I think he's going to get a big contract somewhere, and I'm going to give you guys a disaster scenario. Prepare yourselves. Brace yourselves. I think Marvin Mims is on the Kansas City Chiefs a year from now. And I think that would be electric for him and the Chiefs. Mims will be gone. Sutton, I think, is a good chance of being gone. Riley Moss is going to get paid like a number one corner somewhere. It's not going to be Denver. They're probably going to play Jaquan. I hope they keep Jaquan in Denver. He has a potential to be gone as well. You're going to find a spot for Jade Barron. I know, to the angst of a lot of Broncos country, you're going to find a spot to play Jade. I think Riley Moss has a good potential to be gone. I think there's a third of the league that'll pay him cornerback one money.
Yep, $20 million or so a year. Yes.
You got to make some other adjustments, even above all the guys that I just mentioned, after this year to make the Bo contract $50+ million per work with the cap. Now, there is all kind of crazy circumvention of the cap. There is all kind of moving around of money. There is all kinds of finding a way to, if you're cap strapped, but you have a lot of cash, which, God, I wonder if the Walton Penner Family Ownership Group has cash. I understand all of that, and I already hear everyone saying that. In the back of my head, I hear fans saying that. Well, there's a bunch of money. It's going to be really hard to keep a lot of guys. You're going to have to trade. You're going to have to trade some assets. You're going to have some guys walk. And when all that happens, can you honestly tell me the Broncos are going to be a better football team after a lot of those losses? It's tough to think so. That would tell you that I think this is going to be the best chance for the Denver Broncos to win the Super Bowl. As currently constructed, they are loaded. They are the deepest team in the NFL. They are the most talented team in the NFL. And they're going to have the best defense in the NFL this year. Because this is where I will tell you, all of us, including myself, overreacted, it seems, on losing John Franklin Myers. Because let me tell you how damn good Malcolm Roach and Ini Awazarike look in training camp. That fall off is not going to be as sizable as a lot of us thought. So with all of that said, this is the year. This right here is the year. And I am picking the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not picking them to win it, but I'm picking them to go there.
Brendan and Jordan.
Damn. I couldn't agree more. I do think you're going to lose pretty substantial pieces of this offense next year. What does that look like in terms of really specifically, I'm looking at Riley Moss, and I actually do want to ask you, Aaron, about what Barron has looked like so far in camp, because that's going to be the other big thing that I'm going to be looking at really throughout the entire season is where does he play? What does he look like? Does he seem like he can ascend to the level where you can trust him to be your number 2 cornerback outside of PS2, because we are going to need him after this.
Someone's forgetting about Chris Abrams-Drain.
I do love Chris Abrams-Drain, but I think Chris Abrams-Drain is going to probably kind of be in the same vein that we kind of have like that star cornerback that's like a little bit undersized but kind of plays around. I think that's going to be what Chris Abrams-Drain does. I don't know for sure, but I do love KAD. Don't think I forget about him, but I am curious to know what's going to happen with specifically Barron. And honestly, the biggest reason I'm wondering what's happening with Barron is that's a pretty significant capital to invest in him being, first round top 15 pick. So don't get me wrong. I love KAD, but he also, he is smaller. I think he's good, but he is a little bit smaller. So that could be a little bit of a concern when you put him on the outside. I think he could do it. He's shown us that he's been able to do it, at least at a small sample size. Excuse me, but I do think that it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Barron, and then specifically, can he take over for Riley Moss? If that's Chris Evans' drain, great, would love it, but Barron's got to fit in somewhere. Otherwise, you got to even like maybe see what you can get for him, because if you're not going to have him be out there, there's got to be something you could do to maybe get a piece that can contribute regularly. And I understand having depth at corner, like that's not a bad thing, but I just feel like I hesitate to say it's a bust of a pick, but if he never plays, I can't say it's a successful pick.
And that's it. They're gonna find spots for him to play, which makes it so much more likely that Riley will walk. To answer your question, the last couple of days, Barron's come on very well. He seemed a lot more comfortable than he did, I think, early on in camp. They've shifted him around, and again, Sean also said it. For those saying that he's been playing some safety, I haven't seen it in training camp. A lot of people are saying, I saw him a little bit of safety there. He's been doing some outside. He's been doing nickel. He's been doing a lot. Again, when they drafted him coming out, he is the do-it-all guy. If he wants to bulk up a little and stick even more in the middle of that defense too, the dude can do a lot of different things. I just think right now he's just gotten a little buried because the guys ahead of him have just been so much better. And that's nothing against Barron. That's just saying how incredibly damn good this corner room is right now. I mean, it is. Yeah. Dude, Isaac Yadam, who? We aren't having an Isaac Yadam conversation right now. Yeah. Like that's where we're at right now. What's Levi Wallace? Who?
Yeah.
Like Chris Evans, Trey, and Jaquan are your freaking 3 and 4, dude. Those are starters in half the league, if not more. So Barron's gotten buried, and I think you drafted Jade as a really, really outstanding BPA that I think has just gotten buried just to the nature of how much better just everyone around him in that room has gotten taken. I don't think it's a bad pick. You drafted a talent, and he is a talent, and he had a great, great, great college career. I think that he will come into his own within the next couple of years when Riley walks, and then when they make the decision on Jaquan. We'll see. But Jade's come on the last couple of days in camp, and whether it be for the reason of if they even were to think about trading him, but also just to get him the snaps, I think he has a good chance to be a dark horse darling of preseason. I really do.
I will say, I was going to say too, Brandon, because it's something that we talked about is I kind of always kind of come into remembrance of what Sean said in I believe it was the draft presser when they took him or something, but he made the comp himself of Malcolm Jenkins, of Jade Barron. And for anybody that does not remember what Malcolm Jenkins was or positions and stuff that he played, he was essentially what Kareem Jackson was with the, at the early point of his career, or even, with the Texans and stuff. He was corner and he was safety. He was just like that Joker, if you will, of the.
He said it. He said the J word.
of the defense. But no, and I just think that for what we were talking about, Brandon and Jordan, it's that's kind of the conversation is just give us an identity. Just give us the overall identity of where things are going to be going with Barron, and it seems like he will be used more and more as that chess piece with year 2.
At the end of the day, I mean that's all that I want. I just want him to be able to make an impact on this defense. And final thing to just mention there in the quarterback room, I think if we don't find a way to keep J-Mac, Chris Evans' drain to me is the J-Mac.
Yep.
I can see that.
It's going to be tough to have J-Mac walk, but I think he is a.
Oh, it's going to be so hard. But
it is. I think he is a. He loves it here. Mm-hmm. He really does. I think there's a chance that could be the guy, even though you want all the guys to get that bag, especially Jaquan. He's a really good dude. He is a contender, I think, and I won't speak for him, and I don't know this, an assumption, but he's a contender, I think, to take a pretty nice team-friendly deal to stay here. Of all the guys, Riley, I think, is going to get his bag, and he should. And I think it's best for him in his career because when he goes somewhere and turns into that cornerback 1, well, then other teams are going to target the rest of the guys and going to give everyone else below him that Riley Moss treatment that he's had in Denver because, I don't know, he's playing behind freaking Pat Surtain. I have been a Riley Moss defender for the longest time because just in terms of just sheer volume, what the hell else do people expect? There's going to be those PIs. There's going to be a lot of targets your way when half the field is shut the hell down by Pat Surtain. So when Riley goes elsewhere for more money and for the opportunity to turn into a cornerback one that will not be targeted as much, Riley is going to be a top 15, top 10 borderline cornerback in the NFL when he goes to a different team. Watch.
Yeah.
I mean, he smells like a Miami Dolphin. I mean, it looks like the Dolphins might pay him CB1 money and more.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. I mean, if we would have to pick one between Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan to stay, because I don't believe that we're going to keep both of them, unfortunately. But I mean, I think everybody would rather have Jaquan McMillan just because of the impact he's had, and that's nothing against Riley Moss. It's just the money he's going to demand, and again, rightfully so. I mean, he's gone the wrong end of the stick sometimes, especially on social media with some of the unfair criticism going his way. But I think once he does, get that pay raise and gets that bag and is on another team, he will show, and it will show to others that he is actually a real damn good corner.
Yeah, one of the things that we always said is like he's overhated, right? Like he's one of the more overhated, players that's on the team. But also, it's like when it comes to the pass interference penalties, obviously a lot you can make an argument for may not have been his own doing, and he was just targeted. But it's also one where he did have a target on his back, and it was just unfortunate. And some of those calls were just the nature of really just unfortunate play. And so it's just to that side of it, it was something obviously he had to work on, and we all recognize that. But it's also one where for being opposite of Pat Surtain, that's about as good of a job as you could ask for. And then Brandon, you made the point last week.
That actually might be the worst job you could ask for.
Right. But like you made the point last week that I think it bears repeating consistently, and that's like how many throws were to Riley Moss's way that were like perfect. Like you could not have scripted a perfect pass to Riley Moss on certain situations, right? And like the Justin Herbert play with Benito in his face and he hits Keenan Allen in the end zone, right? Or even, just the perfect like over the shoulder throw where, Riley Moss is there. He's in actual prime position. He makes a terrific catch. Treylon Burks, deciding to be like, oh, you know what? I'm actually going to be a first-round pick on primetime television for the Washington Commanders and just one-arms a ball. And we have people hating on Riley Moss on a play like that. And it's just like, what do you want him to do? Like, what do you want him to do on certain coverage like that? So I think that's the thing is like it happens. You're going to have a fair amount. Yeah.
You got very unlucky last year, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I do agree. I actually think that's probably the worst job you could ask for just because the ball is coming your way every single time, which, I mean, to play cornerback in this league, you kind of need to have this sort of attitude where you enjoy that and you love that. So maybe that's just me, because I definitely don't have that attitude. But I'd be like, man, really? Come on. You're making my job harder because you're so damn good. But no, I definitely think that it's going to be – I think it's going to be better for Riley Moss this year. I think it's just going to – the coin's going to start to balance out a little bit and flip the other way for him, and he's not going to be quite as – have as much of a target on his back, really, I would say, from officials. So I do think he's going to have a better year than I think people saw from him last year. And I do want to see what that's also going to look like because you have some of those calls go the other way last year, and this defense looks better than there were some times where you were kind of wondering, like, is this a great defense? That's why I still kind of laugh at. I mean, obviously, league leader at sacks, but it's why I still kind of laugh at people that are like, oh, well, the defense won all those games for them. And the defense is the reason that they were in all of these one-score games. And I'm like, oh, no, that was Bo in the fourth quarter. But I definitely think that there were times, especially with the Riley Moss situation and the amount of PI calls that he got, that, like, if that goes the other way, some of those one-score games are probably not going to be one-score games. So I do think it's going to be a little bit better.
Can we also talk about, this would be a good spot to mention, that does anyone really think the Broncos are only going to have 14 takeaways this year like
No.
they did last year? Bottom, what were they? 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, 5, 6, 7th worst in the NFL?
No,
They're going to be opportunistic this year.
Not with Daredevil on the team, man.
Dude.
I'm so hyped.
Ask me, what a time to mention. Ask me one of my darlings at training camp, man.
Who's your darling of training camp?
Red frickin' Murdoch. Dude.
You're welcome for the nickname, Anthony, for Daredevil, by the way.
Dude, abso-frickin-lutely. Although, is it? Hold on.
I'm pretty sure that was me, actually.
No, it was
making
me.
sure, though. Okay, it is spelled right. Making sure it wasn't with a C. Making sure Matt Murdoch isn't with a CH. I think this guy is gonna. How do I say this? Okay, so obviously, for those that don't know, so obviously Red Murdoch, the collegiate all-time leader in strip sacks, strip fumbles, recover fumble, whatever it is, strip turnovers, takeaways, whatever it is. He's had a really good camp. Can I also say, even without pads, even in the spiders and the shorts, the dude is freaking buff. Dude, he is built well. Dare I mention this name without you guys shuddering at just the name of who he looks like? He reminds me of the build of Dre Greenlaw. Nice. Reminds me of the build of Dre Greenlaw. I think, first of all, if you guys had to say a weak spot on this defense, it probably for me, position group wise, it'd be inside linebacker.
Yes.
Going into this camp. But Red is going to push Lavelle Bailey and Karene Reed for being the backup to Alex and to Sternad. I think Red Murdoch has the potential, Mr. Relevant has the potential to become very relevant and maybe be the heir apparent to those guys. Lavelle and Karene haven't done a lot, and I know a lot of people are asking probably in the back of their mind, what about Torian York? He's a little small for me. I think he really needs to pop in training camp. I did not expect Torian York to be as small in person than he is. But Red Murdoch is one of my favorites to watch in training camp, dude. He is even in the spiders and shorts in I think it was 7-on-7. No, it wasn't. It was a walkthrough period. It was something without pads. The dude's still lowering his shoulder and getting in there and just immediate attention from me. So an opportunity to mention that I am very excited to watch Red Murdoch in the preseason. I think he's going to be one of the guys that is going to flash and lock himself into this 53. Not that I think there was much of a doubt. I think they like him a lot. But, man, I'm excited to see him. And to the point in the chat, yeah, I want to watch Red in coverage as well. That's something to watch.
Chaos.
He brings the chaos, dude. He brings the chaos.
Hopefully, Red Murdoch is the Brock Purdy of linebackers in terms of being Mr. Irrelevant. That'd be pretty nice.
17 career forced fumbles in college.
It's more than Jacob Rodriguez, who
J-Rod.
who went over to Miami. Wanted him too. It was great to see him.
Any relation?
Yeah, any relation, Anthony?
No. Different. Rodriguez is just a wee bit common. Just a wee bit.
You're supposed to
say.
really. I was gonna say you're supposed to lean into the Spaceballs reference. He is my mother's brother's sister's janitor's downstairs roommate.
They got to follow up that reference in the sequel. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. Anyway, any chance I have to not stop talking about Red Murdoch, I'll do it. I love Red Murdoch.
My prediction, if you will, or hot take, if you will, one of the hot takes this year, that he was going to have 300 snaps this year, which includes special teams.
Khalil Elijah Murdoch, in case you were curious.
Khalil.
Yeah.
So one of the next things on the docket, because obviously I think that one of the fun things about preseason to always talk about is depth. And so we'll talk about depth, obviously, once this preseason kind of rolls around. But we would be remiss if we didn't talk about, frankly, a move that Broncos country has been wanting for maybe over 2 years now. And, thankfully, due to the fact that mainly Broncos own has a person who lives in Florida and probably talked to him on numerous occasions, at least that we don't know about. And so we can officially say that in this particular offseason, right, we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And that'd be Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, really, to kind of feed into a conversation piece that we're going to have today, he's a security blanket. He's a security blanket for Bo Nix. And, but I am curious in a way to what you've seen from him, Anthony, because it's like it really seems like they're really kind of be that speedster that they've been really wanting for this team to be. And frankly, it is unfortunate for Marvin Mims to a degree, and even maybe at times for Troy Franklin, but they really are feeding into this idea of the speed and route running ability, a la Jerry Jeudy. Sorry, Jordan. That this team really badly needed, post that trade.
Well, first of all, I'm infatuated with 17. But I do have to comment on something that you just used, the two words, security blanket.
Oh, no.
There's a bit of delay on that, though, for now. Bo Nix did use the SP phrase on talking about Sutton again. I think it's going to this week of delaying of the building of chemistry between Waddle and Bo, I think is going to push back that timeline a little. However, my jaw has been, what is the phrase? A gap?
Aghast,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Watching Jalen Waddle in practice those first couple days, the get off the line ability, the stop and start ability, the sheer talent of this guy, watching him the first couple days in camp before he got hurt, dude, I started to daydream about what this is going to do for this offense. And I'll tie it into what we were talking about earlier. Brandon, I believe it was you that mentioned the stat of Bo Nix, the most attempts last year. For the sheer fact of the amount of explosive plays that 17 is going to be responsible for, that are going to turn the matriculating drives of 10-plus plays down the field into like a 3-play. Get it to Waddle immediately on the slant, OBJ-esque, and taking that thing down for the touchdown is going to eliminate a lot of those needs for longer drives where Bo's going to need those extra completions. What he's going to do for this offense cannot be overstated. I think Jalen Waddle is the perfect complement for Bo in this offense. I think he's going to take a lot off of the plate of Davis Webb in terms of reducing literally the amount of plays you have to call in your new play calling role. And I think he's going to make things a lot easier also on the rest of the wide receiving core. Can I also say this? Can you imagine Marvin Mims and Jalen Waddle on the field at the exact same time? The defense has to account for that kind of speed, especially if they're on the same side of the freaking offense.
Even Troy Franklin too,
Dude, and Troy.
Yeah.
Now, Troy, it was just one play to be fair, but Troy drops a little bit of an issue again. It was one really big play. I think it was last week that he didn't come down with. It was right in the breadbasket. I'm sure it was from Bo. I can't remember though. That he dropped. I was like, oh my God, that is so reminiscent of some of those from the last couple of years. But I seriously, guys, if Jalen Waddle can stay healthy, and by the way, to give you the true behind the scenes knowledge here, I have watched. So after Jalen Waddle took the soft tissue injury last Wednesday, right? I believe it was on Thursday or Friday. Sean had said he'd be back in 4 to 5 days. We're past that timeline now, but it's just fine. I think they're being cautious. He's not probably going to play tomorrow, which is totally fine. But every single day he has been out there, he has been with a playbook in his hands. He has been engaged. He has been right there watching the offense, looking at that playbook after every single play. He is locked the bleep in to getting this offense down pat, to being comfortable in this offense and being the guy. He's going around and talking to all the offensive players. He's being cordial with his teammates. He is even though he's not on the field taking the reps, he is going all in on the mental side while he's sidelined right now with a soft tissue. I cannot stress to you guys how excited you should be about Jalen Waddle on this team. And you mentioned Jerry Jeudy. You think Jerry Jeudy would be doing any of that? Being engaged, having the playbook, being locked in, being a good dude overall? With all due respect to Jerry, no. I'm excited for Jalen Waddle. Can you tell? Can you tell?
You guys are using the wrong term, man. It's not a security blanket. He's a bazooka.
Dude.
I don't know where you.
If
where
a
you getting security blanket from.
bazooka can stop and start in midair at the blink of an eye and change directions, then yeah. Because that's what Jalen Waddle does. And he is, God, he's fun to watch. Just in practice, he's fun to watch.
He's a GPS-aided bazooka, then.
There you go. Heat seeking, baby. And the unfortunate side is for the defenders, it's the opposite effect where you're going to try to stay with a heat seeking missile and you just can't because he is a yak attack monster of glory. And God, I'm so excited to watch Jalen Waddle. Oh, it's going to make things a lot easier on this offense with some really long touchdowns when he separates and just takes off. Oh,
Talk to us about the other wide receiver standout that's been going on over there in camp.
PB, Patty
Jordan's least
Bleepin'
favorite
Ice. Patty Bleepin' Ice. You're not talking about Troy.
Double whammy, Jordan. Jerry Jeudy, and all of a sudden Pat Bryant.
Yeah, Pat Bryant has had the best camp. Not top 5, not top 3. The best training camp. This guy can play any position. He is reliable. He has made a plethora of big plays in camp. And again, I kind of teased the point earlier. We don't know, and I give you guys a little pull back curtain. Our sideline reporter, Susie Warden, is going to interview him coming up. I don't know if it's this game or a game coming up. And I threw at her. I was like, can you ask him, because there's the one concern, can you ask him if you're allowed to ask him, if you should ask him, is he going to wear the Guardian cap this year? The 2 concussions last year is the one big concern. If that continues, I think that is the only thing that is going to potentially derail the season that we believe that Pat Bryant's going to have. Now, for context, to be fair, coming off of a great training camp, ask me who was the best player in training camp last year. Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
So, you try not to do too much in the correlation of training camp to the regular season. But Pat Bryant has just absolutely blown the lid off of training camp this year. I think we talked about this earlier, if Pat Bryant has the breakout year that I think we're all hoping for, that training camp is looking like it could be, then we will have the Cortland Sutton conversation. I think a lot of people have talked about him potentially being the long-term replacement for Court. I know it's a scary thought given how long Court's been here and the great things he's done here in Denver, and we love him to death. Pat's got a little bit more room to improve on the 50-50 balls, on going up and beating corners. But then again, as I say that out loud, I remember one of the most standout plays from Pat this year. You guys all saw people posting about that touchdown he had and beat 2 defenders in the end zone. Dude, seeing that in person, God. So it almost shuts me up on the point I was about to make, whereas that's one room of improvement for Pat. But, man, that dude can do everything.
As much as it was a beautiful ball from Bo, yeah, it was.
Dude, Pat went up and freaking jacked that thing from those.
So maybe to kind of continue the conversation, and look, we love Jordan, but kind of help Jordan a little bit out because he is very much one of the very few people that is not on the Pat Bryant fan club just yet, even after a year. So I don't want to put too many words, obviously, with Jordan, but what is it about for you? Obviously, being there every single day. Obviously, players cannot stop talking about him. Obviously, every time you interview Kay Adams, she's going to ask you for your social security number, and you're going to give her your social security number, basically. But, like, what is it? Because Jordan still, in his words, Von Miller would be praising 4 different quarterbacks. But for you, like, what is it about Pat Bryant where to kind of, like, talk about like what the original thumbnail for the show was going to end up being, buying or selling the Pat Bryant hype, and kind of continue what you talked about with Troy Franklin and everything, because he was one of the big wide receivers this last year. Are we buying or selling the Pat Bryant hype then?
I will give a caveat here to give a bit of credit, but I'm going to cop out a little bit because I'm going to make this a bigger picture than even just Pat. I think it's going to be very tough for any offensive, and I will say not just receiver, I will say weapon in general, to stand out enough to have a big breakout year because of how many tools are in this tool shed for this offense. There are so many weapons at Davis Webb and Bo Nix's disposal this year. I will say it like this. I don't think I would draft a single Denver Bronco in fantasy this year. Not one.
I was going to say fantasy players avert your ears.
They are going to spread the ball around. Any given game, I think, whether it's Pat, whether
aside
it's
from
Lamar,
Waddle,
whether
right.
it's Court, maybe Waddle, maybe. But I think also what's going to delay that a little bit is being a little behind on the 8 ball on building the chemistry with Bo. Now dealing with the injury, not getting on the field just yet. That I think is a factor. So maybe Jalen Waddle drops a couple more rounds in fantasy. But on Pat, what they're all saying is that if he can stay on the field and avoid the concussions this year, what he did in the last half, even the last third of the season, it became Mr. Reliable. The hands, first of all, are one of the things that stands out the most. This dude catches everything. I put it like this the other day on Twitter. Tim Patrick walked so Pat Bryant could run. And that is really the end of it, because this team,
high price.
Yeah, this guy is I think a superior, or will wind up being, I think, a superior version, a more talented, I think a faster version of Tim Patrick. And I think his ceiling's even higher.
Yeah.
To your point, Cam, I'll bring up the point. Kay Adams asked Sean Payton, how can you take that guy off the field? Sean literally just said, we're not. We're not gonna. Yeah. Because he is showing that he can play any single position. He has the hands to come down with the big third down catches. He's got the pure talent, and I remember the interview that he did the day he was drafted to the Denver Broncos. He did on KOA, and hitting us with the quote, "No, what is it? No block, no rock." He starts first and foremost by leveling dudes as a blocking wide receiver, and then he goes and does everything else that I just mentioned. So I'm buying stock in Pat as what he could be, but in this offense, because of how many freaking weapons that they have, it's hard to buy stock in anybody, not just Pat, because how they're going to spread the ball around, if that makes sense. So fantasy specifically too, other than only Waddle, maybe RJ Harvey and PPR, I'm not touching anybody.
So Jordan, what's your rebuttal to someone who's been at camp, and to even all these, the players like Sean Payton, and so what's your
Patty Ice, Davis Webb, Patty Ice.
What's your rebuttal to Aaron?
No, I mean, there's no rebuttal. He's been there. I mean, he has been having a good camp. My stance still hasn't changed, and it won't until it is. I see the production that everybody thinks that he's going to do. I got killed for predicting his stats last year, and everybody told me it was so low, and it was even lower than I had even predicted. But yeah, I mean, I constantly get ridiculed about these stuff, so I'm kind of already used to it. But yeah, for me, it's a see it to believe it. I mean, we'll see how it is. I'm glad that he's having a good camp and all that. It just, for me, it's a see it to believe it.
At the end of the day, it's all love. Obviously,
let's also remember who Sean Payton compared him to. Michael frickin' Thomas. And it's that comp is starting to have some legs. I'm just saying. It is starting to have I will say, okay, the one thought that I did have more on the negative side, and this was really before the pads came on too. So when the pads came on, it definitely helped. Pat's a little smaller than I think I would like. A little more slim. He's not Troy Franklin slim, but I'd like to have him bulk just a little bit. I don't want him to get as beefy in a good way that Court is, but I think the physical traits that Pat has and how tough I want Pat to be, I'd like for him to bulk up a little bit more. a little bit more. I did notice that early on in camp. The one thing I did notice on the negative side is I think I want Pat to bulk up just a bit more. I'll say that.
Yeah. Now, it is the night before preseason game number 1, boys. We are finally at that point where we have Broncos football on our TV screen. And one of the best things I will always love about preseason is the battle for the underdog. The underdog story that is always in preseason. The people battling for roster spots, people battling for the UDFA's, player that the Broncos might actually sign on their 53-man roster. Right? Like, it's those great conversations that always kind of happen about this time of year when it comes to, the preseason and everything. So, obviously the low-hanging fruit feels like, what you just talked about with Red Murdoch, obviously. But it's just like when you kind of look at it with preseason, Anthony, we'll go around the horn on this too, but it's just, what are the biggest things you want to see from this Broncos team when it comes to preseason as things really do unfold here against Atlanta?
Well, first of all, on the conversation of seeing the guys pop and maybe have a chance of making this team, I'm gonna be brutally honest here. There are not a lot of spots on this roster. They are stupid deep, and thank the heavens that 16 practice squad spots now. It seems like it continues to grow. Those are the real spots. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Graham's comment. No Kelvin Benjamin, please, for the love of God level.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he got so big.
Okay, but that gave us like one of the top 5 all-time commentary quotes of all time.
It'd be like Eddie Lacy, a wide receiver.
Bulking up a little bit too much. Like I was saying, there are not a lot of spots on this roster. There are guys competing to be on the practice squad. In all reality, the Torian Yorks of the world, we would love to compete for a spot. I don't think it's there. It's a lot of, we've talked about the biggest contending battles are back up this, back up this, back up this. Not even a guy that's going to get a significant amount of playing time. And the one that we really don't want to see playing time is the battle I'm going to be watching the most. Obviously, I want to see Jonah Coleman get in the mix. I do want to see, if you want to talk about a guy that I do not believe he's had a good camp, and I don't think he's going to make the team, and it was more emphasized because of the camp he's having. I know a lot of people are super excited about UFL superstar Hakeem Butler. I don't think he's had a good camp. He's one of the few guys I don't think has had a great camp. He's gotten coached really hard.
Yeah.
I know he sets a top speed. A trainer got my mentions today saying he just a couple months ago ran 22 miles an hour or something like that. I understand that, but in camp, from what I've seen visually with my eyes, Hakeem Butler's not looked good. I think he could be a guy that you highlight in preseason as maybe if he has a 100-yard game or something, maybe you can get something via trade with him because let's be honest, Little Jordan Humphrey's a 6 wide receiver on this team, and he's had a really good camp, and he's Sean Payton's guy. We all know that. He's had a really good camp. He's had a really, really good camp, Little Jordan Humphrey. So if there was even a competition, Little Jordan's put it to bed, and Hakeem Butler's helped put the nails in that coffin, I think, with the camps he had. Anyway, the number one storyline for me, a guy that we hope doesn't touch the field at all this year, is battle for quarterback number 2. I'm telling you now, I'm going to confirm what a lot of people have been saying, and I agree with it. Sam Ehlinger's had a damn good training camp. And I think as of right now, I think he is the leader in the clubhouse to be the number 2 quarterback. Now, Sparky, Jarrett Stidham, I think had his opportunity in the AFC Championship game to either continue to be the guy there right behind Bo for the foreseeable future or be a starter elsewhere. I think it left a sour taste. I think we see that the ceiling has been reached. And most importantly, and this is the 2 big most importantly. Number 1, I think he fits the Bo Nix archetype as a backup better. I think he fits better in this offense, and I think we've seen that. He's got a better arm. He might have, and I've heard people say this, and I almost don't disagree, he probably has the best arm we've seen in training camp, and that's including Bo Nix. So I think he fits better, and at the end of the day, if it's close, by the end of preseason, what was one of the first things we talked about? Was money and how much money you need to save. and you can save $4 million by moving on from Jarrett Stidham if you go with Sam Ehlinger instead. So I'm watching for that. They're both going to get a half. I think Stidham starts, I believe, and then Ehlinger will get the second half in preseason game number 1. Again, guys that we hope don't touch the field at all this year. But I'm watching those. I talked about Red Murdoch. Want to see the running backs. Want to see the inside linebackers. But it's a lot of backup jobs. There's not a lot of spots on this team, man. They're just not. So that's when you have the deepest team, I think, in the NFL. They know a lot of their guys already. That's just how it is. Does a UDFA make this team for what is it, the 22nd out of 23 years or whatever the crazy stat is?
Yeah.
Probably not. Who's it going to be?
I was going to say, depends on what their view is, right? Because there's also practice squad, right?
Does practice squad does the stat continue if it's active roster, or can it be practice squad? I think isn't it active roster?
It might be practice
roster.
I think it's active roster. And the only guy that comes to mind, only because of the room's kind of weird, and if Red Murdoch doesn't have a great year because he's technically a draft pick because he's Mr. Irrelevant, Torian York, maybe. The only other guy, you know what? I'm gonna give a caveat. There's one player. Sorry, I have to say this because there's one player that I do think has an opportunity to make the team as a UDFA. Because when it comes to making this roster, how do you do it? You make an impact special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Have no guy, Aaron Rizzi, go to bat for you on a shutdown day. If he falls in love with Colby Katzman, that isn't a guy that can have an opportunity to make the roster as a UDFA. There you go. I'll end on that. Colby Katzman, I think, is a guy that can really have an opportunity to be that UDFA. All right, I go long. I don't shut up.
Go ahead, Jordan and Brandon.
No, I mean it is going to be hard for a UDFA to make it. Again, how A-Rod said. I mean the roster's deep. I don't think again that it qualifies to make practice squad, but I mean I think a few of those guys will be on the practice squad when it's all said and done. But even at that, I mean they might get snagged up by another team because the Broncos are very good at getting talent like that, and that's why their roster's so deep. So, and also you have to count into the fact that the Broncos are, evaluating other teams and their practice squads, players, and all that. So you may never know who might be an addition or stuff like that. But even though I rarely doubt that they might add somebody, but just for little transactions like that, those are still important to monitor.
By the way, confirmed, it is the 53-man roster. So 21 of the past 22 seasons. Last year was Karene Reed, ironically enough, in the same inside linebacking room we're talking about. So 21 of the last 22 years, UDFA has made the 53. So it has to be the 53.
Yeah, I figured. I had some trouble hearing you because it was cutting out. Who did you say you were talking about with your prediction?
Castus.
Okay, that's what I thought, but there was some kind of interference going on. So one thing that I wanted to kind of bring up in terms of players to watch at a position where I'm not necessarily saying there's not really a opportunity for quote unquote starters to change, although there could be. But I think that one player who's been just showing out, from what I can tell in training camp, that has not been talked about, I think, enough, is Jonah Ellis. Dude, Jonah Ellis, from everything that I'm hearing, is kind of having a little bit of a breakout, and I am so hyped to see him get more snaps as a pass rusher in the regular season. I mean, to the point where they kind of canceled his transition to inside linebacker because they're like, he's too good. He's too good on the edge. We can't do that.
Well,
so I'm super excited to see
when
rotations
did they
for that.
start to cancel that? Because we haven't discussed the elephant in the room.
Well,
And that's where Jonah Ellis could step into a lot more playing time.
That's why I said there could be potentially an opportunity, but I don't know enough about the situation, and I'm not going to.
No, and we don't want to speculate, but the reality of the situation is what's in the open that we can say is there's the potential there, not with the case itself, but just with the potential there of the NFL stepping in and deciding to suspend who we're talking about, and that's in Jonathan Cooper. Not talking about the case itself, but just the logistics of.
That's true. That's
fair. You can say we don't want to speculate and dive into all the stuff going off the field, but the logistical nature of it is at some point the NFL, regardless of how it even plays out legally, could decide to to take matters in their own hands. The NFL has the right, and they've done it to suspend Cooper. And then, Jonah could step up in a big time, much larger role. Yeah.
I'm hyped to see what he's going to do. I think he's going to show out. If he plays at all in the preseason, he's going to be playing with his hair on fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jordan.
No, I mean, I agree, Jonah. I highly doubt that we see a lot of playing time from Jonah Ellis. I can see it more from like some of the lower end guys. Another guy that I'm excited about to see is Koi Robinson. See how he's progressing stuff. He's been a stud in training camp, as of reports are saying, and also he's going to be a good special teamer as well. But him as a pass rusher has been good reports coming out of that. So I'm actually quite excited to see him tomorrow too.
Dude, have you seen A-Rod? Have you seen the tree? Is it in the new facility? The tree where they grow pass rushers?
It's secretive. It's locked underground, and anyone that sees it actually gets killed. So,
damn.
I was gonna say, or was it like what is it? It's Lord of the Rings reference. It was the tree that was over in Minas Tirith. You know, is it like that,
good
or
pull.
or is it? Or is it one that's
Exactly.
actually, or is it flaming and all of a sudden, it's not going well.
I think the guys they might maybe a different tree. They get pulled in to the tree from Game of Thrones with the crow, and you suddenly become all knowing and otherworldly, like growing on the path of the tree.
Oh.
You can't be, by the way. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you now. The Broncos are going to have the best defense in the NFL this year. They are so stupid deep. And Q Robinson is another freaking guy that's had a great camp. But I'm going to re-emphasize one more time for those that didn't listen. For the people in the back, I'm telling you, we overreacted just a bit on losing JFM. Don't tell Zach Allen, who talked about how he helped him get paid and get that house. I understand that. JFM's a great guy and he's going to be a great piece for Tennessee. God bless him listening into the meetings with Robert Saleh. But this defense is going to be damn good, and with Malcolm Roach and Ini Uwazurike, who look incredible in camp, we might quickly forget about JFM, respectfully. I'm just going to tell you.
So, obviously, in that vein, I mean, the Broncos released their first unofficial,
AKA the troll, Sean Payton trolling all of us, as he does.
Depth chart, and Malcolm Roach was listed, right, amongst that. And Roach and probably Uwazurike are probably your two tops that are going to be replacing JFM. I think for me, when it comes to preseason, I think it's very easy to go with like the Jonah Coleman route, or anybody that's going to end up getting a vast majority of snaps. But I will say, I think on the offensive side of the ball, and then obviously this is probably entering where we're going to have the Evan Ingram conversation a little bit, but it was just like, but I think where I'm very excited to kind of see as far as this preseason is what are we going to see from guys like Justin Jolie and Dallin Bentley. I think those are the two, as far as rookie goes, that I'm kind of curious to see, because those could be your future 1 and 2 of the tight end room. And so I'm very curious about that, because we always see every once in a while where a draft prospect also surprises a lot of people, right? When it comes to his draft style. And one of the things they always said about Justin Jolie is it's almost like the tight end version of Pat Bryant. He's got reliable hands, maybe not necessarily the most athletic and athleticism of the world, but he's this sure-handed guy. Well, the one thing that it seems like it could happen is he becomes this athletic guy in this offseason, under a Davis Webb type of offense. And so it's one where there's a world that it can happen. And I think if you see it in the preseason, which is a little bit more of it definitely has an NFL feel to it, but if there's anything that feels more like a college football season and how open and how aggressive things can be for an offense, it is preseason because of how free-flowing it is a little bit. So I think there will be some moments where you'll see a little bit more athleticism from Justin Jolie that I think maybe people maybe kind of were sleeping on, if you will.
Tight end is probably the weirdest and toughest position group for figuring out the 53, because either Jolie and or Bentley is going to make it really tough on Sean Payton going, do I cut ties with Adkins or Kroll? Troutman's the lock. He's going to make the roster. Ingram's a lock. He's going to make the roster. And I think it's going to be Lucas Kroll because Nate Adkins is really good on special teams. But I think, get ready for having a really tough loss to another team because I'm leaning towards it's going to be Dallin Bentley if you can sneak him to the practice squad because Jolie, I don't think you're going to be able to. But one of those two guys or both is going to make a really tough decision in that tight end room because, they literally have 7 right now. Caleb Lohner's not making the team. Maybe if you stick with the project, the practice squad, I think the Jolie and Bentley picks are kind of the sign that they're going to move on from Caleb Lohner. He also hasn't played in camp at all. But God bless, I have no idea how the hell they're going to maneuver the tight end room on the 53. But because it's going to be a couple one or two Sean Payton guys that he's had for a couple years now that are his guys are gonna be left at the door. Kroll and Adkins. If you want to keep Jolie and Bentley, or if you want to just keep Jolie and try to get Bentley the practice squad, then you only got to maybe move on from Lucas Kroll because I think Darren Rizzi won't let Nate Adkins out the door. But I have no idea what they're going to do with the 53 with tight end, dude. There's going to be some hard decisions to make, and that's probably why you only carry 3 running backs too.
Yeah.
Bidet and Jaleel are probably gone. So, sorry. I love Jaleel to death. And now that you have what Jonah Coleman can add on third down and pass pro, I think Bidet is now going to be gone as well. I think he's expendable. Dude, there's going to be some tough decisions. Can you even go with 6 wideouts? Court, Pat,
5 is pretty much set in stone.
Waddle,
right?
Humphrey, Mims, and Franklin. That's 6. Little Jordan Humphrey is your 6th wide receiver, and he's not going anywhere.
He's the tight end. He's the other guy on the tight end.
The only thing I will say that you can carry 5 is because they have literal proof that you can stash Little Jordan on the practice squad and continue to have him be the game day elevation guy. And Little Jordan, I think, is comfortable with that. Or you make a trade.
I was going to say he's even comfortable being cut and then brought back. 7 and Spike.
Yeah, have him be cut, have him be the practice squad guy, have him be the multiple game day elevation. And then by the time he runs out of game day elevations, then maybe there's an injury and you don't have to worry about not having him be on the 53. But, man, if Waddle is a full go because of the roster construction and maneuvering they got to do, maybe they do trade Troy. Yeah, Graham. Taysom frickin' Hill. Who wants?
I'm getting outnumbered right now.
I got nowhere to be. Y'all want to talk about Taysom Hill?
I'm getting outnumbered. I'm no on Taysom.
Okay, I am a middle ground. Would you like to hear my breakdown of this? I am torn. I am torn. If my very own fellas, Ben Albright, Nick Ferguson, had a really good discussion on this, and they were on each side of it. If you bring in Taysom Hill to play everything except quarterback at any point in time in any game, I'm in. Because I think having him, whether it be lined up as a wideout, as a tight end, as a fullback, as a running back, if you have him do that at any juncture and be that true joker and an unknown on offense, I'm in. But to keep with the driving analogies, like we've talked about with driver's ed, talk about the ultimate pulling of the e-brake if you put Taysom Hill in at quarterback on a great drive where Bo is feeling it. And then you get to the 10 and, man, let me just pull you out and put in Taysom Hill at quarterback. Yep. I'm not up for that. So if that's going to be the game plan, I wouldn't sign up for that. If it's everything else, I'm in. And for those that don't know, if I remember reading this correctly, the doctor that did Taysom's most recent surgery is the Broncos team doctor. Yep. And all the checkups have been here in the Mile High. If there's anyone that knows about whether he's going to be healthy or not, and I think that is 80% of the whether this happens or not is the health. Because if I heard someone tell me the other day, the hypotheticals are, number 1, Taysom Hill returns to play for the Broncos, or Taysom Hill retires. Now that he's gone to New Orleans, I think it's going to be for Sean in Denver or nothing at all. If he's healthy enough, I think they entertain it. I think if he's healthy enough, I think they bring him in for the workout and see if it's a go. And Sean Payton also probably already knows. Someone should have asked him how the conversation or the meetup went, because he obviously saw him for Drew's Hall of Fame induction this last weekend. Hey, did you talk to Taysom? How did it go? How is he feeling? Does he want to play football? Because that's what Sean said. He says, I don't even know if he wants to play, let alone healthy enough to play. I don't know if he wants to play. So that's where I'm at. I'm very torn. I'm very indifferent. It has to be the right way, and I don't know if I trust that he would come in and be used correctly. So I'm torn.
I think what you just described about the putting him in at the 10-yard line, that's my sleep paralysis demon.
Seriously. Yeah. Me too. I don't want it. I don't want that. I don't want the pulling of the e-brake on a great offensive drive and insert Taysom Hill, and he gets stuffed, and now we're at 2nd and 14, and damn it, Bo, go back in and deal with that pie in the face. I need a new TV. Seriously. I don't know, man. I'm
So then obviously with that, then to go on that conversation, are you signing him as a tight end? You signing him as a quarterback? Because then at that point too, if you're signing him as a quarterback, then you're not going to have 4 on the roster.
You're signing him as I think you're signing him as a tight end.
Okay, so then you're signing him as a tight end. How are you filling out the tight end room then?
I mean, again, we'll go through it again. Ingram, Troutman, locks. Jolie a lock because you don't want to lose him. Adkins a lock for special teams. That's 4. You cut Kroll, you cut Loner, and you try to get Bentley on the practice squad, and you have Taysom Hill kind of be your 5th tight end, I guess.
That seems like a lot of tight ends.
It is, and then only in that way do you go. You're then going 3 running backs. You're going 5 wide receivers, knowing that Little Jordan will be your floater all year as your 6th. And you're definitely going 2 quarterbacks. Can I acknowledge this?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I repeat what I was saying earlier. I don't think Butler's had a good camp. Lazy is not a fair word. I do think he is trying, and I know he's shown speed in the UFL. I think his routes don't look clean. I don't think he uses his physical traits correctly, and I don't think he's not showing the speed to me in practice for Hakeem Butler. I don't think he has a shot to make this team. And that's just me. Based on what I've seen in camp, that's my opinion. I think Hakeem Butler, respectfully, has had one of the weaker camps of anyone. And that's disappointing, because I think we all had a lot of I was very excited to watch him. I think I was interested to see if he could break through in this wide receiver room and be a weapon if anyone were to now have a good camp. But I'm sorry, but the wide receiver room has been arguably some of the guys have had the best camps. It is a tough year. As much as I like the frickin' fro on the head of Kyrese Rowan, none of these guys are making it. Cameron Ross, again, another really, really good camp.
Don't be disrespecting the guy named Cameron.
Dude, I'm not. Cameron Ross had a great camp. He is in the wrong team. He is on the wrong wide receiver unit, man. Michael Bandy. Michael Bandy's gonna bandy about trying to look for a practice squad spot on this team. He's got no shot to make the 53 either. I don't know, man. Good luck making this team if you are not one of the locks, because it's damn near impossible.
Yeah, we'll as a show, we tend to always do kind of like a 53-man roster prediction, and it gets harder ever since the Broncos have been so good.
Good luck to y'all this year.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's
trying to keep that O-line depth.
It might actually be easy, because it's hard to make like the edge decisions, but this roster is already set.
But it's beyond set. Like, there's going to be some hard cuts. This is without even talking about how the hell do you maneuver having a deep O-line, especially with what's going on at center right now. Now, to be fair, everyone's overreacting because Wattenberg and Forsythe are going to be fine. It's the preseason. We're a month away still. Gavin Ortega is going to get some center. Calvin Throckmorton's been getting center work.
Do you actually see Cage Casey? So I guess that's the other thing. Speaking of draft picks, do you see Cage Casey getting some run with center? Because I heard there was some talk that he would get it, that he was getting some center at that point, like with all those injuries. Like, do you see a point where in this preseason or this particular one upcoming that he gets run at center?
Maybe a little. I think it's going to be more.
They obviously signed someone today too. Like,
Yeah, they did. I think it's going to be more Throckmorton and a lot of Ortega. When Bo gets back, I'm pretty. We're not allowed. I'm going to be very, very clear. We're not allowed to speculate on injuries and speculate when a guy's going to be back. So let me PSA that out there. Is literally in our written rules, monitoring training camp. So I'm going to say I would like to believe, based on his participation, not in practice, but being in pads and doing a lot of side field work, I would like to say I can confidently assume that when Bo gets back next week, he will have his two centers. I think Wattenberg and Forsythe have a good chance to come back, and it won't be a concern anymore. And so maybe late in games when it's with Ellinger or Stidham, maybe you get Cage Casey some work. He's got a bright future on this team, so maybe this is the time to get him some work. But if it's not Wattenberg and Forsythe back to play with Bo and then to play with whoever the two is by next week, then maybe you play around with Casey. You play around with Throckmorton. You're going to get Ortega some reps too. I am 0% concerned about what's going on at center right now. Zero. It's
just not ideal based on timing.
No, it's not. But
yeah,
if it were a regular season game, and the reason why I'm going to make this connection because Sean talked about it with Bo yesterday, saying if this was a regular season, he's like, and you can ask him, I think he'd be 100%. Like, it's not a concern. They made the decision a month ago that Bo's not going to play in the regular season opener, so it has nothing. The preseason opener, so it has nothing to do with what's going on at center, according to Sean. If this were the regular season, I think Wattenberg or Forsythe are probably both fine. They're just being very, very cautious, and they should be. You just paid Luke Wattenberg, and you don't want to also mess up your backup center too. So, no concern when Bo gets back under center in the preseason. I think it's going to be with Wattenberg or Forsythe. So I don't have an issue. And Denver Trav, Drew Sanders. No, I don't. I think the opportunity has passed him by. I find it very hard to imagine him having a roster spot.
It's a deep room.
We're talking about the offense, but making the defense side of the 53. No, you have to have had an incredible camp. Sanders has been okay, but I think the room has passed him by.
Yep. Jordan and Britton, you guys got anything?
Not really. I mean, I agree with all those points. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be really hard to make this team. I mean, the fact that we'll be debating who will be the third guy or the fourth guy in a certain position group is a good thing, instead of the first or the second guy. But in terms of that, I mean, like we know who the guys are going to be, the core guys and the starters and the backups. But I'm just excited for tomorrow's game and watching the depth guys kind of just shine.
I do want to bring up Darian's point, and obviously Darian Nosball just started content over there on YouTube in the last just under a year. So go support him. Go support him there over on TikTok and as well as the YouTube channel. But it kind of surprised us in terms of coming out of left field, in terms of them actually bringing a safety in for a visit, and thus being Taylor Rapp. So obviously I know that Jade Barron, there's at least a runway if they ever wanted to play him at safety with the future of Brandon Jones, in terms of him getting paid and him getting a contract here at some point. If he, and if he doesn't, then there's at least a nice runway for Barron to take a safety spot like that. But Taylor Rapp coming here would mean that he would be the third safety. So it's just, and obviously it's one where, at least allegedly being a third safety. And so it's one where it's a player who's a little bit banged up in his history. He does have some injury history, but he's been relatively solid between safety 2, safety 3 when it came to Buffalo. What is the avenue for a guy like Taylor Rapp? It's interesting because, they brought in Tyson Anderson, probably a special teams demon.
Absolutely.
Call into remembrance, they did sign 2 special teams demons again in JT Gray and Sam Franklin, and none of them were on the roster at all by the end of the season, or even by week 1. They were not on the roster. what do you make of this whole Taylor Rapp interest in him being brought in for a visit?
I think they could be potentially a little concerned of the depth behind the starters. Devin Key, again, he's had that opportunity because he was so damn good on special teams last year. I think they're giving him that opportunity, and he stepped up at moments last year. JL Skinner, again, he's had some health things, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think if either of those two guys, if Hufanga or Jones go down, and let's be brutally honest too, the Broncos got very lucky with Hufanga last year in terms of his health, but there have been those health concerns over his career. If he were to go down, or if you lose BJ, I don't think they'd be very confident in one of those two guys starting. And yeah, Darian, BJ likes Key. A lot of us really like Evan Key. By the way, his brother's not making the team either, which is unfortunate. Dang it! Just throwing that out there for all the people out there. Unfortunately, Dane Key is not going to make the roster.
You just had to throw in some nice Nebraska stuff in there. I see.
The Corn Huskers. Rapp is a good vet, man. Maybe that says a lot too on their thoughts on the development of Miles Scott, too. I've only seen Miles a little. I haven't noticed enough to make a judgment call. And again, like you said, I think Tyson Anderson is stepping in to be in that special teams demon, like you said. I don't know how much work you want to get him. Then again, I mean, Devin Key's getting this opportunity because of how damn good he was at special teams last year. And Tyson Anderson has been a bit longer-term proven commodity. But I don't mind the idea of a Rapp because, like I said, if Hufanga or Jones goes down, it's a little bit of panic mode at safety. It is for me, a little. It's not as I'm not that looking down at the list of all the guys. If a starter were to go down, that's probably where I immediately would have the most concern is if Hufanga or Jones goes down, and that's not good because the problem is if Jones has the injury issues or Hufanga does what he's had sometimes this year, not last year, the first year of the Broncos, but if it happens, there's big concern there. I probably would bring in Rapp too.
Yeah, you gotta have some vet backup because beyond them, it's very unproven.
PJ Locke, come back.
Too late for that.
Yeah.
Sad
Jordan?
I agree. I mean, the depth behind them is not only shaky but just unproven. I mean, they haven't gotten a lot of game reps to show that they can be counted on if something does happen. So bringing in a guy like a Taylor Rapp can be good for the depth. So and I do agree. We did get fortunate with Hufanga and his health, and hopefully it's another year of that. And hopefully Brandon Jones can also play a full season healthy as well.
How much? Obviously, this is a relatively big in terms of JL Skinner fan club, though. In terms of some of the potential of what he can bring. But do you think, due to the size and due to the fact that they're really, it's rare to kind of see a safety with those size and measurables, do you see a window, Anthony, where he kind of takes a little bit of a Jamal Adams role as things kind of unfold if he's not working out at safety, where you kind of you see him be used more as almost like a third safety off ball, player that can be used in like true pass rush situations, almost like a new position, if you will, being a linebacker, just due to that size, and also due to the fact that linebacker is a bit of a open door in terms of some positions. Could you see that being a possibility with JL?
I don't mind it, especially making him more versatile because, I mean, I know we've mentioned Tyson Anderson being the special teams demon. JL Skinner's already kind of been that too. I mean, he's been a core special teams guy. So diversifying him a bit and letting those be options, I think it would behoove them to not go that route and figure that out with JL. But I don't know, man. He's dealt with a lot of injuries too to make reliability a tough question with JL too. I know he had the torn labrum. He's dealt with his own stuff. So there's a lot of injury history in that safety room overall. To go big picture, I'm concerned. But to your point, I do like that idea, and especially diversifying a guy that is a lock for the roster, unless. I mean, I don't know if they really like Tyson enough, but JL's proven, and he's kind of right in line there with Key, of getting these opportunities at safety because of how great they've been in special teams. Darren Rizzi is the ultimate door to opportunity. You make Darren happy, and you're going to get your chances to get snaps on D, yeah, especially if Jones or Hufanga deal with injuries. So,
yeah. Jordan, Brandon, Jordan, do you got anything to talk about in terms of your boy J.L. Skinner?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a big believer in him, so I would for sure be a advocate for diversifying his role, especially on the defensive side, because we already know he's one of the guys on the special teams. But yeah, it's just the whole thing with seeing if he can transition into that, and maybe just maybe having an impact on maybe being a bit more of a linebacker. And we've had those worrisome coverage issues with Alex Singleton and stuff like that. So you never know with a new dime package or whatever they want to call it. But yeah, I mean, diversity in his role, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think he definitely has some room to prove himself, I would say, a little bit in terms of being depth at safety, because if there is one part of this roster that there could be some opportunity to show out, I think that's going to be part of it, because Brandon Jones, is he going to be here after this contract? I don't know. And they both have dealt with injuries in the past. Like, I do hope that we get some kind of just additional knowledge, I would say, there, and intel there on, do we think we can trust one of these safeties? And if not, let's bring Taylor Rapp in. But I think J.L. Skinner is definitely doing all the right things in terms of, showing out on special teams. And I think it's just going to continue to happen. But I'm hoping that he can maybe even come in rotationally and just start to show a little bit of something and give me some more hope for the safety depth.
He's also going to be available too, because he played through that freaking torn labrum every freaking game last year, including the postseason. Like, every game he played through that torn labrum. So at least he's going to be available. Like, he's going to be a guy that if Hufanga and Jones go down, like, he's going to be available, even if he's dealing with a torn freaking labrum every damn game. Like, that dude's tough. That dude is tough. So that's at least good. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries. I hope he can showcase in a healthy year. Obviously, I think he had the surgery in February, but they said as of last month, they said he's fully recovered. So if he can bounce back and be fully healthy, that'd be really fun to see his potential play out in a fully healthy year, to say this is what I can truly be when fully healthy. So if he's given those opportunities, maybe it could be a blessing in disguise early on in the season. Again, I'm not advocating and definitely not hoping for an injury from Hufanga or Jones, but if Skinner's shown that opportunity early on in the season, that, hey, I'm here, kind of like PJ Locke for a lot of the later in the year. If he's given the opportunity early, I don't want that opportunity to come late in the season. If it's going to come at all, I would prefer it to be early in the season. But maybe this is now in preseason. Maybe J.L. Skinner's the guy we're talking about.
I want to see him show up in preseason. Yeah.
Yeah, this is that time. This is that shot. If he's fully healthy, say, hey, I'm here to step up if needed. And then maybe by the end of the preseason, we're saying, hey, we're actually not too concerned if Skinner has to pop in and be a key contributor, be that PJ Locke of 2026.
Yeah. So no, it should be a lot of fun. And, Broncos preseason, Broncos football is back in full swing.
Y'all ready?
I know. So before we go, obviously the other really important, really noteworthy conversation that I think all of us want to know is, because you've been the boots on the ground, you've been there every single day for training camp, take us through the eyes of what has been this Denver Broncos facility, this $175 million investment of way more square footage in terms of even the Dove Valley facility that was already there and actually wasn't all that bad either. Kind of got a 10 times more upgrade when it came to that facility. So kind of take us through a bit of a walkthrough of, one, how beautiful is it? And me and Brandon and Jordan being golfers, how can I get my hands on that golf simulator, on that in that training facility?
Well, it's first of all, it's immaculate. A lot of people have gotten the walkthrough. I haven't done the entire walkthrough tour yet, unfortunately. But what I've seen, I'll tell you this: a lot of my time getting to training camp, I am one of the first getting there. I usually am getting there about 5:30 in the morning every single day, and I'm through all the way through practice, not leaving until about noon, 12:30, 1 o'clock. But in the mornings, getting the opportunity to walk up on that thing in the dark with every single light on, it literally looks like a college campus or a luxury hotel, dude. It is amazing. The comparison I'll make it. So I got to work a year at the ESPN headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut. The beautiful big headquarters you guys always see. I got to work on SportsCenter, ESPN, blah blah blah, all that. That literally looks like a building from that campus. That new giant, beautiful facility. It is immaculate. And then obviously we've all seen all the behind the scenes videos of it, and just everyone has just been wowed. Every player, every coach, every visitor. I know Mike Shanahan got the tour. Michaela Schifrin probably got a good look through it. I'm sure Kay Adams did. Everyone cannot shut up about how beautiful it is. And you want to talk about any money the Broncos will have to spend on free agents and bringing more into this organization. One tour through that building, dude, or just even seeing from the outside, like I have most mornings, it's just otherworldly. And it's just one of the few steps, and one of the few things that should make Broncos country chill out a little, as an example of, you're going to have good spots to tailgate in the new stadium. You're going to have all that taken care of. Here's an example. Look at this facility that they just built. Example A, right here in front of you. I
was gonna say it feels a little overblown by some of the fans talking about some of the tailgating.
Has the Walton Penner family ownership group let us down yet? Yes or no?
No.
No. Trust the process. The process.
Did you just quote Dick Monfort?
I trust that process too, to be honest with you. Now. Just
Brandon.
saying.
I was going to say, you're going to sneak us in?
Yeah.
Dude,
it is
the golf simulator.
It is on lockdown. there ain't the security measures. They got it down pat. Ain't nobody getting in without the creds. I'm so sorry.
They probably got Daredevil watching.
When Red Murdoch is not on the football field, hey, I have one question. Has anyone seen Red Murdoch and Daredevil in the same room at the same time?
The streets are talking.
The streets are talking in a low whisper, so that way Murdoch doesn't hear you. A low whisper, a low simmer. But the facility is unbelievable, dude. It's seeing in person every single day is just because last year walking into training camp at that early time as well, seeing it just to be built and how fast it was coming together, I'm like, this thing is going to look unbelievable.
So I will say, and obviously, there was the really unfortunate incident with the coworker, the worker that was working on it who passed and everything. And I think there was a moment where some of us, if not all of us, thought it's not going to be ready. And so they're going to be, not really doing any sort of training camp. And so I was surprised that they actually got it done. Was that already like in the plans, or was it just kind of like an immediate thing where it's like, we're already close to the finish line. Let's just.
From what I remember reading of it, I think it gave them just a very, very brief work stoppage. But then they did all the right things. They did the investigation on it, and obviously the unfortunate nature of it was just that they had found this individual. And I think like I said, they had the stoppage. They dotted the I's, they crossed the T's. They did the investigation properly. But to my knowledge, it did not any further outside of a temporary stoppage of work and construction. It did not delay anything further on that. So as far as I knew, my reading into it, that there wasn't any risk of it delaying the opening of training camp or anything of the sort. Obviously unfortunate news for that individual and their family, and hopefully the family is got their answers and are doing okay dealing with that. But as far as I had heard, that it did not delay any of that process any more than just a temporary stoppage.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the PSLs. I know Jordan is dying to have season tickets for the Denver Broncos, being out there in Florida.
Pumpkin spice lattes, right? That's what you're talking about?
Exactly. Pumpkin spice lattes.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, the amount of
tickets now? How do I get on the list?
First off, the amount of people that I saw, it was like within Broncos country, who actually thought it actually was pumpkin spice lattes for like
Let's hope jokingly.
for like the hour or however long it was surprising. But like, do you believe into? Because like the part I thought was interesting was Damani Leach came out and said it seems very likely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, Greg Penner's not going to come out and confirm the PSLs are going to be likely, but he did kind of downplay that a little bit. So, do you think that that's going to be a big thing going forward, and that they will, use some of the PSLs? Because I will preface it in saying that like you also have to handle it the way the market goes, and for most teams, the PSLs are the way have been kind of the way that things have gone. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at that.
Yeah. So Damani Leach obviously first mentioned, like you said, that very likely. Smartly, not to like disagree with Damani or put cold water on it, but smartly, Greg Penner said that basically not even thinking about it, and honestly, it's because that's true that they're so far away from talking about even broaching the subject on PSLs. There's so much more left in this process before you get to that. But I'm going to tell Broncos country, brutally honest, coming close because I'm going to tell you the truth right now. They're happening, 100% happening. It's the new fad, not fad. It's just it's the trend, if you will, with new stadiums. It's an opportunity for even owners as rich as the Walton Penner family ownership group to gain back some of the lot of money that they're putting into this project. It's 100,000%, in my opinion, happening. And the unfortunate truth is this, Broncos country. For all of those over the course of decades that have wanted season tickets to the Broncos, if you are listening to this and you are considering the possibility, the option of PSLs, if you give it up within a millisecond, the next person in line will snatch your spot, and you'll be forgotten about. That's the unfortunate reality of it. I'm only being brutally honest because that's the reality of the situation, because people have gone back and forth about PSLs. Would they not? They're happening. So if you have season tickets and you have the opportunity to buy a PSL, time to think about whether you're willing to give that up or not. It's going to be a lot of money, thousands of dollars per PSL. I'm not going to get into the minutia of whether I believe it's right or wrong. I think it is a business. It is a good business practice. It is smart on the sense of the Walton Penner family ownership group, and it's happening. So there's nothing really further to be said about that. Everyone's doing it. Every new stadium is going to do it. I would be shocked if the Broncos decide to not do it. They're not. There's no further of raising taxes. They are privately funding this entire thing. I think it is it's a big expense, but at the end of the day, I think it's a drop in the can for at the end of the day what this is all about. But I believe it's 100% happening. PSLs are happening.
Jordan Brandon.
I mean, my only takeaway is don't make it look like the Bill Stadium where there's like several seats where it's just obstructed view and the stadium is brand new.
Or have I asked someone in our TikTok live earlier today to name the Jumbotron that they've got, and they said Minitron. And that's so right, dude. That looks terrible too.
I don't think I've seen that.
No.
Dude,
I think if they just steer away from what happened to that stadium, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion personally on PSLs because
Me neither.
I don't plan to attempt to buy season tickets anytime soon. It's a absolutely gigantic investment that the Walter Penner family is making, even though they do have funny money. Like this is a lot. This is a huge investment, and they got to try to earn back something. It's not going to necessarily cover the cost of the stadium, but make it pay for itself at least a little bit. Like it wouldn't surprise me. It also doesn't concern me, and I'm not planning on doing anything with it. But they got to make money somehow.
Well, I just Googled this, and I don't know if it's right, but I'm going to make a point suggesting that it should be right. I think fans, just like how the Walton Penner family ownership group has doubled their investment of the team since they bought the organization, if they do make PSLs a thing, what I think fans should be allowed to do, if they aren't already, My quick Google search says that maybe they already can, but if they can't, they should be able to. When you buy the PSL, it should be able to be an investment and go up in value. And if you ever decide to resell it, you can make money to reselling it on the secondary market.
Yeah,
I think that would be a
cool.
great idea for, like, let's say a Broncos fan has a seat in the 100 section, right? And they buy that PSL for, oh man, PSL in the 100 section is going to be tens of thousands of dollars.
In that new stadium?
yeah, tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. But they should they not have the opportunity to have it be like an investment where if they sell it 40 years down the road in the same, if let's say the stadium is, okay, let's be realistic, 20 years down the road, that it goes up in value. On a secondary market, obviously I want to sell it to somebody that's on the list, right? On the wait list, sell it to somebody that is a Broncos fan that lives in the area. To be able to resell it, that'd be a really cool incentive, I think, to invest as a season ticket holder in your PSL if you're allowed to resell it to someone else on the list. There's an idea I think a lot of Broncos fans would get more behind. It's not just here's a flat rate for the opportunity to buy season tickets. It's an actual investment. That could be really cool. I think it'll make a lot of Broncos country happy.
The other thing that I would be remiss if we didn't talk about regarding the stadium is, have you yourself seen the renderings of the new stadium?
Like of the stadium itself or of everything around it?
The stadium itself. Have you seen the rendering?
Those everything that is not everything. What am I trying to say here? The stadium itself, everything is completely private. If there's anything even made, I haven't seen any of it. I've just seen everything around it, just like everyone else has seen the renderings of all the different buildings, all the different areas, all the different neighborhoods, all the different ideas for tailgating. Everything but the stadium. And I don't think they've gotten to the stadium yet. I'm sure they're broaching it. They're getting close, whatever it is. I don't know anything about that. But I've seen everything that you guys have seen. And I think a lot of it looks fantastic. I think the whole Burnham Yard development is going to be badass. I think it's going to be a state-of-the-art fan experience. And for the love of God, Broncos country, I repeat, chill out. Yeah. They're going to take care of parking. They're going to take care of tailgating. It's going to be an elevated experience that the 31 other organizations and their fans will be jealous of. Have patience, trust the process, and the Walton Penner Family Ownership Group has not let us down yet, and they won't.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean,
Dude,
I think that, specifically to when you fit in the Ball Arena development that'll be going in and being, installed, I want to say was like finalized, if you will, all of it by 2050 or whatever it is. Like you'll have that, and then for anybody that may not know or may be interested in this kind of thing, it's like you'll basically have like an appetizer before you go to the Denver skyline, and it's going to be that new stadium.
Can we talk about the timeline though? Because you mentioned a year there. We are now, if you read through the breadcrumbs and the tea leaves, 2031 is starting to sound like it's an aggressive timeline. For this to get done, because of the time it's taken to secure, whether it be they had the big one with the concrete that just came through, but Denver Water dealing with all the different all the different dotting the I's, crossing the T's, everything with the city of Denver. Greg Penner's now using the terminology 2031 is an aggressive timeline for everything to happen. I don't know. It's starting to sound like 2031 may be a bit too soon for this to actually get done, which is unfortunate. But in reality of what they're trying to develop, this is not just a stadium, right? This is not just a stadium. This is a revitalization of that entire area, the whole development, everything. 2031, it might not happen. Just prepare yourself for that can to get kicked down the road maybe a little further. The Broncos, instead of hosting a Super Bowl in 2033, maybe it's 2035 or 2036, because usually the NFL wants a year or two for the stadium to get everything all situated and figured out, and everything around with the development figured out before you host a Super Bowl. So maybe it's closer to 8 years, 9 years before we're hosting a Super Bowl. So and playing games,
or even hosting an NFL draft.
NFL draft, winter concerts, Super Bowls, Final Fours, all of it. All of it. The amount of money that the city of Denver and the surrounding communities is going to make in the next 30 years because of this is going to be
hosting an NBA Finals over in the hosting an NBA Finals over in that kind of stadium where the Nuggets are going to be facing the Celtics, and The Nuggets will beat them 4-0.
Who's on the Nuggets then? Not Jokic.
It won't be Jokic. You know who won't be on the Celtics?
Derek White.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a little easy for that to already be a prediction.
Right, Jordan?
LeBron James' son, Bryce James. Not Bronny. Bronny will be playing in Czech Republic.
Okay. We'll wind down the show, obviously, but obviously us being a little bit nerds here, and I know
Nerds.
I don't want to spoil it in a sense because
this.
Brandon, I don't know if you've seen Brand New Day, and Jordan, have you seen Brand New Day?
No.
I have not seen it yet. Do not spoil anything.
Of course,
Or
I
tell
would
me
never
that you're
spoil
going
it.
to talk about it, and I'm going to jump off.
We're not going to spoil it, but I want to know why you hated Brand New Day.
I didn't hate it. And Brandon, don't worry. I am notorious for not spoiling. I promise you I won't spoil anything. I hate to spoil anything for anybody, and I will not do it. Brand New Day wasn't good. I am in the vast minority. The vast minority. I did not hate it, Cameron. Don't take a page out of Ryan Edwards. Don't take a page out of Ryan Edwards' book and expand it to hatred. I just didn't like it. I had high expectations. The plot was weak. I think it's Tom Holland's weakest installment of being Spider-Man. I think there were a lot of holes. The twist was weak. There was a lot of potential there that did not get tapped into well enough. I'm sorry. And I know my movie radar is not off because The Odyssey is one of the best movies I have ever seen. And I, before The Odyssey, was a massive Christopher Nolan hater. Okay? And The Odyssey did something for me that I never thought I would openly agree and admit to. And that is The Odyssey has made me promise and swear to never badmouth Christopher Nolan ever again. And I won't. I will always say of the movies of his that I despise, which is Tenet, which is dog crap, and God, I blank it out of my mind because it's so absolutely.
But I don't know if you and I talked. You don't hate Dark Knight though.
No, but it's very overrated. And overrated. Hold on, let me stop you right there. Overrated is the most misunderstood word in the English language. It does not mean bad, but people think it's the best superhero movie of all time, and it's not. It's really, really good. It is not the top of the top. Okay? And I am going to Google this right now because I keep forgetting the name of the movie because it's that freaking bad, and it's Christopher Nolan's second worst movie. Why am I forgetting the name of it? Dunkirk. Dog poop. Awful. Terrible. No good. A glorified History Channel episode. It's bad. It's bad.
A good thing.
Now, one of my favorite movies of all time is Inception. Okay? And now The Odyssey is up there. If it wasn't for my bias of Inception, The Odyssey is Christopher Nolan's best movie. His best movie.
Okay.
The cast,
It's
the pacing, the story, everything. The visuals, the cinematography, the emotion, everything about The Odyssey is hands down. So I say that to say this. I know my movie radar is not off because I loved that damn good movie, and Spider-Man was not good. I'm sorry, Nick Benito. And Sean Payton. Sean Payton said he's not a Spider-Man guy. I'm going to pretend that Sean Payton actually saw Brand New Day, and that made him not a Spider-Man guy, okay? Because Spider-Man Brand New Day was not good. I'm sorry. I don't
in fairness to obviously not spoiling, the law of averages would tell you Tom Holland was going to at least hit on one of those movies.
He hit on 3 of them.
No, I meant like in terms of like Odyssey and then and then Brand New Day, like all coming out.
He was really good in Odyssey. I mean, it wasn't great because he was alongside some legendary performances from Anne Hathaway and from Matt Damon and from my God, Edward. Words hard.
Robert
Pattinson.
Thank you, Pattinson. Phenomenal role. Yeah, Brand New Day was good. Denver Trav asked in the chat, "What's my top superhero movie?" I mean, I'm a big MCU guy, so
you
it's
are
always
a big
come
MCU
from the
guy.
MCU. My favorite MCU movie, my number one ranked. I ranked them all. My number one ranked MCU movie is Avengers, the OG Avengers, the first one.
It's a good one.
It's my number one.
It's hard to beat it.
Yeah. The best movie, like, bias aside, the best movie, superhero movie, like, actual cinema is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Interesting. Me and Brandon are big Cap people.
Honestly, I'm torn between that and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier is I don't hate that at all. Winter Soldier is unbelievable. Civil War is up there as well. Infinity War and Endgame up there as well. But the Avengers, and of 38 MCU movies, Spider-Man: Brand New Day came in at 21, halfway. Yep.
What's your lowest ranked?
Iron Man 2, always will be.
That could have guessed.
Always will be.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because Thor 2 is 2 above that at 36 out of 38. And between those, which I need to rewatch because I guarantee I will rank it higher, is Black Widow. I think I need to rewatch that. I think I was too harsh on that. And I also just rewatched Shang-Chi, and I think I need to put that up a little bit higher.
Where do you have it at right now?
It's too low. I have it at 27.
That's way too low.
I when I first saw it, it was at number 10, and it's every time I've rewatched it, its rewatchability has not been great. So it's right below. I'm gonna do a live update right now because you know what I have above Shang-Chi right now is Captain America: Brave New World. That has to change right now.
I didn't mind it, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
Shang-Chi's got to be much higher than that, man.
Darian says Brand New Day top 10. You are off your frickin' rocker.
He said that to me too, literally word for word.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Every other spot. I did we're already off the damn rails. We're already 2 hours and 11 minutes. Jordan's ready to be done with this. I can see it, but I'm telling you right now.
It's 11:15. And you're here. So,
I'm telling you right now. I even ranked my Spider-Man movies. Brand New Day is the 3rd worst.
Damn.
Yeah, the only 2 movies that are worse than Brand New Day are the first Amazing Spider-Man with Garfield and Spider-Man 3, obviously.
Here's where Cameron goes berserk.
No Way Home is the best Spider-Man movie. The best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2, says Darian?
I really did like. I really liked No Way Home though, so we can at least.
No Way Home. When I first saw No Way Home, it was number 1 in my MCU rankings. It got to number 1. It is now at.
We can at least have some.
It has fallen after the nostalgia worn off. No Way Home is number 8, but that's because it's so top heavy. I mean, the Avengers, Captain America: First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War, Ragnarok, and then No Way Home. So No Way Home can't get above those. Otherwise,
All right. Well, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and tell people where they can follow you.
Yes.
And why you named your handle Anthony Rod 33 for Larry Walker.
I swear to God. Just like Patrick Alwyn said, I can't hear you. I've got 2 Stanley Cup rings in my ears. It's for Patrick frickin' Waugh, you bum. I love you, Cam, but damn you to hell. It's not for Larry
how many people do you think are actually going to finally get with the program and think that I'm making it all up?
Not enough. Everyone needs to know that you're full of bull honky. You dingbat. That's okay. You're the only person I'll let get away with that. No, dude. So Broncos season's about to get underway, so I would highly encourage everyone to follow our social channels at KOA Colorado. If you see something posted to our TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or X page, it is likely yours truly if it's Broncos related. I'm posting just about everything. I go to all the home games. As of now, I'm not scheduled to go into any away games, but that could always change. I also go. This coming up in LA will be my 3rd straight Super Bowl media week I'll be going to. If the Broncos are in the game, there's always a slight chance I would go to the game. But at this moment, most media covers the week and then goes home, doesn't really go to the game. So I'll be covering that. But the moral of the story is follow all of our social channels at KOA Colorado. I am now starting to do a lot of TikTok lives since we just hit 20,000 followers on TikTok at KOA Colorado. There's been a lot of fun engagement. If anyone's in here, because I was promoting this podcast before the show, if anyone's in here, I know Denver Trav was in the TikTok live. If there's anyone in here from that, there's going to be more of that, so keep that coming. And then follow my personal stuff as well. I'm always posting different updates, different cool videos, a lot of cool content. I'm on X at AnthonyRod33 for Patrick Waugh, and on Instagram at The Life of A-Rod. And obviously, for those that don't know, Cam, anytime you want, Cam, and Jordan and Brandon, you guys as well, if you're ever around. Cameron, I got to get you up. I'm also the race announcer up at Colorado National Speedway. This is my 3rd season doing that. I'm having an awesome freaking time out there. It's been so much fun. So if anyone's a big racing fan, hit me up. Love to have you guys come out to the racing track as well. Watch me in action with all the fun racing shenanigans.
And to kind of, if you guys are first-time watchers of the Mainly Broncos stream, thank you guys to everybody that have been hopping in. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button for the MHRT Network page as well as the Mainly Broncos YouTube page. We do have a join feature that you guys can join. It's something that YouTube has created now. It's like a membership, if you will. Feel free to choose whatever membership suits your fancy. We also do super chats. But it's another one where feel free to give whatever to your heart's content on that one. But yeah, make sure you also follow and support the boys. Jordan at Jordan2 Lopez obviously posts great content over on his Twitter handle at Brandon Miller PO. Make sure you get a chance to follow him, and of course, Anthony. And for any of you guys that missed it on the top, he and I go way back, almost too far. All the way down there to college. So I'm just so thankful to obviously get a chance to obviously do this with Anthony. So thank you guys to everybody that was hopping in the chat, and then we will see you guys next week where the Broncos may have a winning streak broken or not broken. With preseason, they're going in with a bit of a winning streak with this, going in facing the Falcons.
Not quite the Ravens, though.
Not quite the Ravens.
God.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and we will see you guys next week where we'll be talking some more Broncos content right here on the MHRT Network and Mainly Broncos podcast.
Slurpee? Radical. Slurpee? Yeah. We're out of here.
Let's go Broncos! God bless Bo Nix!